such initiatives. We also have with us Ms. Yashika Sharma, who has been very actively helping the Student Evaluation Division in transferring our records to DigiLocker and APAR and the National Academic, the Academic Banks of Credits. She is the coordinator for the National Academic Depository and the Academic Bank of Credits project at Digital India Corporation. She works with universities and stakeholders to promote APAR, ABC and DigiLocker, enabling secure digital academic records and enhancing student-centric digital services. I would like to inform you about this, that the status of the IGNOU about all this is that we have more than 52 lakh records on their site, and this includes more than 45 lakh degrees and more than 4 lakhs mark sheets, more than 2 lakhs diploma, more than 24 lakhs ABC accounts created, and more than 3 lakhs credit records with APAR. Regarding the implementation of IKS in the university, I requested all my colleagues and I got some information that we have really done considerably well as far as IKS is concerned. Particularly our Sanskrit discipline, they have a Bharatiya Gyan Parampara paper in the BA Sanskrit honors, which they are translating into English also, because basically it is in Sanskrit, so they are translating into English. They have MA Jyotish, Vedic Studies, Hindu Studies, Bhagavad Gita Studies, and PG Diploma in Vastu Shastra also. So this includes Indian epistemology. They also have philosophy, society, culture, art, skills. So these are all components of IKS in their programs: art, skills, and agriculture, commerce, physics, chemistry. So almost a number of subjects have been covered in their different programs that they are providing. We also have components of IKS in childhood education, education philosophy of Indian educationists. We also have these components in the different programs of management and the BSc, BA, BEd program, the ITAP program of the education discipline. So IKS is part of political science and Gandhi studies as far as the School of Social Sciences is concerned. And as far as management is concerned, they are also having IKS in the rural marketing and marketing management. So we have made considerable progress as far as incorporating IKS and also the digital initiatives of the university are concerned. So we'd like to hear from the experts who have been involved in all these things. May I invite now Professor Pawan Kumar Singh to deliver his talk before we take up the next one, the digital initiatives by Mr. Khare and Ms. Yashika. Thank you.
Let me begin with one Vedic prayer. It will take around 30 seconds. I'll just chant, I will enjoy. You also with open eyes or closed eyes may enjoy listening this, or even simultaneously, slowly humming. Om Sahna Vavatu Sahnao Bhunaktu Sahviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti. This sutra, if you find that any Upanishad beginning with this sutra, just clearly declare it comes from Krishna Yajurveda. And this is Vedic sutra. It means Om, means O cosmic force, energize all of us. Sahana Bhavatu, let we all come together and let we all put our efforts together. Sahnau Bhunaktu, after putting efforts, whatever fruits are available, let we all enjoy together. Sahviryam Karvavahai, let we all strengthen one another, should not enervate one another. Tejasvinavadhitamastu, let we all get illumined and let we all collectively make a journey towards light. Ma Vidvishavahai, Ma, not no nasal sound here, no Chandrabindu, no Bindi. Ma in Sanskrit means lest not, कहीं ऐसा ना हो जाए. भय के साथ हम कहते हैं ना, अरे कहीं ऐसा ना हो जाए. Ma Vidvishavahe, because we are all working together, so let there be no ill feeling or animosity amongst we all. Perhaps Upanishadic rishis knew that while working together, there is possibility and probability of having some negative feeling. So already negation of that negative is there. So Ma Vidvishavahe, Om Shante, Shante, Shante. O cosmic force, give us peace at 3 different levels. Physical level peace means healthy body, mental level peace, and peace at a spiritual level. And what is peace at a spiritual level? There can be more than 108 meanings of peace at a spiritual level. But one meaning is that peace at a spiritual level means, let I look at you as extension of so-called myself, and let I be seen to myself, by myself, as extension of yourself. So mine and thine, you and me, I and you do not exist. That is spiritual health. And if we see in terms of I versus you, my versus your, mine versus thine, more we create a dividing line between these, then more diseased spiritually we are, as Upanishads they indicate. So this is the basic meaning of this sutra. So on the dais, very happy to have Shri Gaurav Khareji. And by looking at here and listening to your background, salute to you. You are putting your ahuti for the great cause for the building of nation. And supported by Madam Yashika Sharma ji. So very nice and most welcome. And we would like to listen to young minds like you. Dr. Jaideep Sharma ji, thank you very much for having us here and spoken some very encouraging words for all of us, especially for myself. And yes, I am here because of love and affection of IGNOU family. And first of all, I heartily thank Professor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Uma Kanjilal ji. Thank you very much. And she said me that you have to come. And I said simply that order will be followed and I will be obeyed. So I came. To main fir aa gaya. And sometimes I feel that kind of love and affection I receive from colleagues here, or by being some time for few hours in this campus for last more than 2 decades, whatever affection I receive, I pray to God, at least that degree of affection should be available in each family of the country. क्योंकि उतना भी उपलब्ध नहीं है, मैं देख रहा हूँ. तो मुझे तो बड़ा धन मिलता है. I am very rich person. And dear all faculty colleagues here, non-teaching staff, very affectionate to me personally, Professor Jitendra Kumar Srivastava Sahab. We had met in Shivkasi. I was director of IIM Tiruchirappalli, living in thick of Tamil Nadu. I was in Tiruchirappalli, and we had a program for Hindi implementation in a place none other than the place which produces perhaps more than 80% of crackers of the country. Diwali का नाम याद आते ही शिवकाशी याद आता है. नीचे देखिएगा ये पटाखे शिवकाशी के. शिवकाशी में जाके हम लोगों ने हिंदी के एकदम से सुहाने सुहाने जो कहिए आप, एक फुलझड़ियाँ और पटाखे सब हम लोगों ने वहाँ इस्तेमाल किए और हिंदी कार्यान्वयन के लिए हम लोगों ने वहाँ प्रयास किया. बहुत धन्यवाद, मुलाकात बड़ी अच्छी थी. So dear all colleagues and friends of IGNOU family and all students here attending, guests, ladies and gentlemen. Topic is simple, and if I can save, let us say I have been given 45 minutes, but we are a bit late, and if I conclude within 25 minutes, I think I'll contribute to organizer. So that will be my first contribution. Topic is, of course, grand topic, grand purpose for congregation is Shiksha Sankalp, celebrating 6 years of NEP 2020, and within that, my humble topic is Indian knowledge system, in need of empathetic and rigorous implementation. So, I remember, because I was heading few institutions, and then I'm back to my parent organization on my basic position, which I enjoy most. Now I'm professor of IIM Indore, and before that, director of IIM Tiruchirappalli or MDI Gurgaon. So I remember first NEP annual function in Varanasi that I could not attend because I was a new director, means not with lengthy experience. So I said to ministry, I am not coming. Why? Two months back, I had committed my date for some institution for their invocation program, how I can come. I did not go. But second year, when I was contacted by Joint Secretary that you please come, I said, again, I have commitment, 2 months back I have committed. And you are giving me 3 days notice. He said, sir, last year also you had not come. हमने कहा अरे डायरेक्टर का अटेंडेंस ले रहे थे क्या आप लोग पिछले साल कुछ कर रहे थे हमने कहा मैं जाता हूँ so second year it was addressed first year it was addressed by none other than our honorable prime minister second time it was by Amit Shah ji in presence of Dr. Dharmendra Pradhan ji and third fourth all we celebrated at Bharat Mandapam except the first one which was at Varanasi anyway so this is the background we are celebrating 6th today so half dozen of the years have gone, and now we are at a crossroad as far as adapting, implementing National Education Policy 2020 is concerned. And within that, I will try to focus on IKS, that is Indian Knowledge System. First of all, it is time for me, and it is a very responsible dais, I understand that, but teacher should be respectfully be able to open out the heart also. We always keep opening our minds, but heart also. As far as document of NEP is concerned, and if you ask me as a humble teacher, I will rate it 9 out of 10. You may ask, why not 10 out of 10? Then I would say 10 out of 10 can be given only in that context where things cannot be improved. जैसे ब्रह्म है, अब ब्रह्म का कोई इंप्रूवमेंट नहीं होता है वो पहले से ही है पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ब्रह्म में न कुछ जोड़ा जा सकता है न घटाया जा सकता है 10/10 तो ब्रह्म को ही मिलता है एंड सम सब्जेक्ट्स वी डील विथ विच आर एक्चुअली इंडिकेटिंग टुवर्ड्स द ऑप्टिमम पॉइंट नो कॉम्प्रोमाइज ओनली वन आंसर इज करेक्ट and there can be no other discussion and debate and opinion on that. In such subject also we can give 10/10. For example, mathematics. If it is 2 plus 2, if you have written 4, there is no harm giving 10 out of 10. So except that Brahma and Satya, we can give only such subject 10/10. But mathematics is also very fuzzy. The lower level mathematics is more concrete. Higher level mathematics is more abstract. That's why calculus is more abstract than algebra and arithmetics. And that's why statistics is more abstract than mathematics. And that's why fuzzy logic is more abstract than even, calculus or statistics. More advanced mathematics we deal with, more fuzzy it becomes. And social science and humanities already is fuzzy, and that it is its strength. कुछ साइंस के विद्यार्थी कहते हैं अरे वहाँ तो कुछ भी ओपिनियन चलता रहता है. Sometimes I see some of my colleagues from physics or chemistry or biology, वहाँ तो आप social science में कुछ भी बोलते रहते हैं, कोई कुछ बोलता है, कोई कुछ बोलता है. हमने कहा यही strength है उसकी. Because I have also good grounding in science. I was a good student of science up to +2. It was my choice to go for economics honors. But I have enjoyed the flavor of science and fragrance of social science. And there is no division. क्या हम लोग को सिखाया गया? In 1973 I was told, 1973, that you are going to be promoted to class 8th, choose either science or art. And teachers whispered in my ears, तुम थोड़ा better student हो, science ही लेना. बेटर है क्या? ले लिया, बढ़िया से पढ़ा भी. I enjoyed. I could have a good professor of chemistry if I would have continued with science. I know that organic chemistry was like a music for me. But anyway, later on I realized how wrongly we were being counseled at that point of time, because every subject, you see, NEP talks about multidisciplinary, cross-disciplinary, and transdisciplinary. And unless we develop respect for every subject, we can't be like that. And that's why how I see now all subjects, I have love for all subjects. Some subjects I could not understand well, like biology or something like that. But all subjects have to be respected by you if you are custodian of one subject. And as professor, you are custodian of one subject. But love for all subjects can be developed through one of my humble analogy or example, that all the subjects taken together, they are all well integrated. They are like a single lake, deep lake, brimming with water. एक बड़ा झील है जो पानी लबालब भरा हुआ है. It is brimming with water. Then there are many ghats. घाट है उस झील पर, बहुत बड़ा झील है. उस घाट के नाम है, एक घाट का नाम है सोशियोलॉजी, दूसरे का एस्ट्रोफिजिक्स, द थर्ड वन इज इंग्लिश लिटरेचर, द फोर्थ वन इज होम साइंस, द फिफ्थ वन इज स्टैटिस्टिक्स, द सिक्स्थ वन इज बॉटनी और जूलॉजी. इमेजिन एनी लॉजी, they are all different ghats. That's why there should be a creativity exercise in FDP that randomly take two subjects of two different professors of two different streams and try to find the common bridge. Put your mind there. Use your creativity. That how botany can be connected to sociology. Just randomly take any two subjects. And if you actually ponder over or discuss or debate, you will find nothing is in isolation. This whole existence is like gestalt, and we are all connected to one another. That gives the basic plinth where the idea of multidisciplinary translated to cross-disciplinary and transdisciplinary can germinate. हम हल ही ठीक से नहीं जोतते हैं. What is the first job of a farmer? To create the ground so that the seed, once it will be sown, and sunlight will be provided, and fertilizer would be provided, and manure would be provided, and water would be provided. Ground has been prepared. Our ground is actually dissecting, and it is dividing. I belong to this school, you belong to this school, that's fine. That is for governance. That is for some kind of understanding. But then we should also develop, and you know it all already. Psychology as a subject did not exist once upon a time. Then neuroscience developed in Germany by William Wundt and by, let us say, William James, who was working in the field of philosophy. So Philosophical School of America and Neurological Science School of Germany. William Wundt representing Germany. William James, by the way, it was William in both the cases. William James from America, William Wundt from Germany. Slowly, there was a kind of integration. And then psychology slowly started standing on its own feet. And one day it declared, I am a separate subject. That is called transdisciplinary. Transdisciplinary means once you have taken base of certain different subjects, in the final product, the fragrance of that basic subject would be there, but still the final product can claim to be elemental in nature. It is no more only simple compound. So basic subjects were element, and the produced subject also becomes element. That is called movement from multidisciplinary to cross to transdisciplinary. And that's why we say that many of the research topics today, they can be germinated by understanding the area of intersection between two different disciplines or two neighboring disciplines, whatever is there. Because at the core of the discipline, everything has not been done, but many things have been done. But what is waiting for us to get explored by we academicians? Basically, which are the area of cross-section. We are at the area of intersection, what is called in set theory. So this is how we have to make journey. Now, institution like where I come from now, that is IIM Indore or IIM System or IGNOU. Let me tell you that in IGNOU I worked for about 2 years, from 1997 to 1999. Wonderful journey I had. I learned a lot. I was just sharing with Madam Honorable Umaji that I joined IGNOU one day with my head a bit bowed down, and I raised my head. What is the date today? I found 1 year gone. So much learning I was absorbed in, because I had come from conventional system of teaching for 8 years. Then 1 year, suddenly I found it has gone, but with a lot of learning. EMPC used to be my favorite hunting ground. And I used to look towards my HOD when you are going to give me class in EMPC. I want to teach. और पढ़ाने के लिए दिल बलबलाता रहता था, भूखा प्यासा में रहता था, कुछ मिलता था कभी-कभी भोजन. Anyway, so and during COVID, when my colleagues in IIM used to say me, when COVID started, I was in your town only, Gurgaon. I was director of MDI Gurgaon. So we had to implement many things during COVID. And then my colleagues said, sir, so much learning taking place. हमने कहा, for you maybe new learning. IGNOU has already taught me in 1997 what we mean by, say, distance education, education through using technology. So that was my background. NEP document, I'll give marks 9 by 10. I was saying that. And implementation of NEP, I'm a humble person. You may ask me, who are you to give marks, but I can give publicly. I'll give marks somewhere oscillating between 5.5 to 6. 6 hesitatingly, 5.5 with confidence, because 6 is first division after all. But I can go up to 6. But you may ask, why not 7? Why not 7? And sometimes for self-test, where we conduct workshop for even top managers like MDs or GMs or many senior honorable judges, we ask them. And sometimes we trigger. कभी हम लोग तंग करते हैं. तंग करने से अच्छी चीजें निकलती हैं. That say you are honorable judge, or you are senior IAS, or you are a doctor, or you are an engineer, or you are a director, or you are a professor or dean. On 1 to 10 scale, where you rate yourself. Somebody will say, I rate myself at 7.4. Now think about, take 10 minutes, from 7.4, how you can move to 7.6. No tall claim that from 7.4, how you can be 10. वो daydreaming नहीं करना है, step by step. Because already when you are operating at high level, the next incremental progress actually is Herculean task. So moving from 7.4, based on your self-reporting, moving to 7.6 also will be a worthy journey. What you will do for that? But why 5.5 or 6 for implementation? I'll tell you some reasons. In the beginning, 2020, actually, new education policy came, and also COVID also came during that time, but we had a lot of discussion through online. And I was into some subcommittee at national level for implementation of NEP. So in the beginning, fine, journey was okay, but it was too decentralized right at the earliest moment. Decentralization should have taken place after some time. For example, if NEP document can be octafurcated, means 8 भागों में अगर विभक्त कर दिया जाए, if let us say, or nectafurcated, 9 भागों में, decafurcated, 10 भागों में, तो मान लीजिए हमने 8 भाग में उसको बड़ा बड़ा विभक्त किया. Now there should have been, I had recommended it, but who listens to one single individual? But I'll tell you, just to think, that what I had proposed, and somewhere it was documented also, and I was also part of UGC subcommittee for IKS. I will tell you later. So let there be 8 core committees on NEP implementation in the country, and let in each committee there would be around 18 to 20 persons taken the best brain for that particular forte area to implement, how to implement. Now these 20 persons team, which will represent one part of NEP, they would actually further at the national level will generate debate on how to implement that part of NEP also, and integrating with other parts. Anyway, so if this debate takes place, then the core committee of 20 takes into account what has been discussed and debated at national level. And then there would be grand discussion. Abhi kya hua? This is NEP. Oh, university, you please discuss. Oh, university X, you please discuss. Oh, university Y, you please discuss. Oh, school, you please discuss. Oh, UGC, you please discuss. Oh, AICT, you please discuss. Oh, NEPA, you please discuss. उसको जोड़ेगा कौन? ये मेरे ध्यान में था. और वहीं ये हुआ कि this integrate, and then you may say that if 20 persons core committee would have worked, let us say, only on one part, then there would be too much of standardization and everything will be implemented homogeneously in the country. No, that I'm not favoring. I'm saying that this core committee of a part of NEP would have integrated things at national level and would have created 2 parts of the implementation of that segment. One is common to all in the country, which could have been around 70% would be common to all country, and 30% would be befitting and giving response to geographical need, or let us say regional issues. Somewhere we are focusing on forests, so let's forest-related education be a little emphasized say in Northeast. But what you will do if you implement about forest in Gujarat? Of course, some portion has some forest, but fine, only one hill station is there in Gujarat, Saputara. तो फॉरेस्ट का इशू है तो आप मेघालय में बात करिए. तो 30% flexibility, where 30% would be determined by regional, let us say, needs and demands. That's why grand integration somewhere we needed. Anyway, I have no reason to complain here or lament here, but I'm saying that implementation still needs, and still there is time. We have not lost everything. Only 6 years we have we are celebrating. There is still time that how to further well knit the implementation part of national education policy. Now, because time is limited, I will quickly jump to my portion, that is Indian knowledge system. In Indian knowledge system, basically, when we say, ये है क्या भाई, Indian और बहनों, Indian knowledge system has to be embedded in education. Now, what actually it is and what we are talking about. My humble answer should be that when I was invited by UGC in a committee, and you may see on website also of UGC, there is a Moolya Pravah document 2.0. And I was one of the members of that committee and had contributed to my inner satisfaction. It is still there, where we had recommended that how the values education should be imparted in universities, higher education, from where the top level leadership up to any, let us say, rank and file person working in the university will be well knit through value education. And because being in IIM, I'm not directly connected with the UGC system. I only worked in subcommittee. So I don't know how far that is being implemented. So that is one issue. Document is there, but implementation, I don't see it very, let us say, frequently taking place, some kind of, let us say, value training for top leadership in university. And second thing which I had recommended, that under Malvi mission, that let there be 2 leadership program. I have equal respect for assistant professors and full professor. And the same condition was there when I was myself assistant professor. I used to demand equal respect. Then, and I gave equal respect, but leadership training actually is different at different level of responsibility. So one class of leadership training should have been for the top leaders of in academia, where full professor and dean directors, full professors and top leadership, that required leadership training for the top academic leadership. And second leadership training basically should have been for any professor may join, certainly for associate professor and certainly for assistant professor. So professor could join both the sides. Professor, because professor is a link person between, let us say, entire academia and academic leadership. Because professor is a person who is academician and is future leader. So professor and top leadership, one group, one kind of leadership training program, only for them. Other kind of leadership program for professor, associate professor, and say, assistant professor among academia. And as I said in Moolya Pravah, it was not only limited to academician, it was actually percolating to the level of any rank and file person. Why I am saying so? Researchers say that leadership training at different level is different. But alas, now it has all been mixed. I'm not against it, but assistant professor sitting there and top leadership sitting there, if you talk common thing, it neither may be fully useful for the top, nor may be fully useful for the, let us say, young colleagues who is assistant professor. These are many issues of, say, implementation. Now, when we say IKS is not like that in a basket of potato, it means mainstream subject, you also put a piece of onion. Onion मान लीजिए IKS है. भाई एक आलू के टोकरे में एक, अरे IKS तो onion है मान लीजिए, अरे इसको भी रख दो. Now, what will happen with 8 potato if one raw onion exists? What is the use? It is not like that. IKS has to be in education like maybe 2 drops of ghee in hot pulse, cooked pulse. गरम दाल बढ़िया बनी हुई हो और उसमें 2 ही बूंद घी जाए, अब कतरे कतरे में घुस जाएगा. Each drop of dal will give you fragrance and taste of that ghee. So it is like that. It is not like putting 1 onion with 8 potatoes, no use. कि हम एक piece, 2 session हमने ले लिया, अरे उससे कुछ नहीं होगा. So at 3 levels we have to do it. Number 1, IKS has to be a separate subject also, at various levels of education. Especially we are dealing with higher education, so let us say graduation, post-graduation. IKS, one separate subject, because as a consolidated piece of knowledge, it must be imparted. Secondly, IKS should be as an integral, some topic in each subject. And thirdly, though it is only 1 or 2 sessions out of 20 in all the possible subjects, but whenever you discuss in every session, there can be, let us say, not only example, but embedded with IKS. That's why I gave you example, even 2 or 3 droplets of ghee in dal makes the entire dal of different quality. And that's why 3-level approach we need. That is separate subject, 1 or 2 topics in the subject, all the subjects, and whichever session is going on, it is totally integrated. That's one. And then IKS right from beginning up to, let us say, from cradle, from nursery to up to, let us say, PhD, if we treat PhD as the highest degree, IKS has to be there, irrespective whichever subject you are dealing with, because IKS has entered everywhere. And being a student of science, I have some comfort understanding how IKS had developed metallic science. And even if we see a pillar near Qutub Minar here in our local Delhi, it is an example of IKS in field of science. But basically, I deal with management. And just for information, after teaching for about 2 decades in IIM Mumbai and IIM Indore, my elective subject is called as Bliss. I did not wait for IKS NEP-2020 to do whatever I wanted to do as a faculty. Right from 1998, 1999, I started working in the field, which is now called as IKS. So in 1998, 1999, I floated one subject in NITI Mumbai, which is now IIM Mumbai. And you know, the title of that subject is, which I have been teaching for long, only for last 7 years, there is some, let us say, discontinuity because I was director at 2 places. Title of the course is Bliss. 1999, a faculty floating Bliss-like of course, and Bliss is Behavioral and Leadership Insights in Sanskrit Scriptures. I floated. And my committee said that you don't want your subject to get floated because Sanskrit will distract people. And this kind of subject, please make it a little cozy. I said, no cozy. And I cannot take a political equilibrium kind of, let us say, stand that if I quote from Sanskrit scripture, why I'm not quoting from Prakrit scripture. If I quote from Sanskrit scripture, that is so humongous task that I cannot justify that. Don't ask me to be politically correct. I will teach this. Let somebody else teach something else. So I was not encouraged. 22 students had taken that subject, elective. And threshold number was 20. 20 से नीचे लेगा तो कोर्स ही नहीं चलेगा. 22 ले लिया, भगवान ने बचाया. Large, 1999. ले लिया. Next year, subscribers were 172, 173. Word of the mouth. And I asked students, why you took this subject? And they said that we want to know the deeper aspect, how let us say, the nuggets, the precious nuggets of olden days can be understood for solving contemporary knowledge. That is very important. And that's why I want to emphasize that before going for IKS, actually ये एक ideal statement है. Ideal and awkward statement मैं दे रहा हूँ. But लेकिन एक है, चिंतन के लिए है, करना नहीं है उसको, कि we should stop talking about IKS for 10 years. गहराई में चुपचाप काम करिए. जो डूबना है तो इतने सुकून से डूबो कि आसपास की लहरों को भी पता न चले. डूबिए, चुप रहिए. बहुत बोलते हैं हम लोग. अरे देवेंद्रनाथ टैगोर के पास एक श्लोक उड़ता हुआ आया, ईशावास्योपनिषद का पहला श्लोक, तेन त्यक्तेन भुंजिथा माग्रद कस्विद धनम ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किंच जगत्याम जगत. ये पहला श्लोक है ईशावास्योपनिषद का. वो कागज का टुकड़ा कहीं से उड़ते हुए आया और उन्होंने देखा कि उपनिषद वाक्य हैं, जीवन को उनका बदल दिया. हमारे पास भी क्या होता है, कहीं कोई कॉन्फ्रेंस में या कहीं, क्षमा करिएगा, सुन लिया एक श्लोक, अब उसको हम इंप्रेशन जमाने के लिए बोले जा रहे हैं और IKS होना चाहिए. भाई IKS के लिए चुप्पा मारिए 10 साल, अंदर घुसिए और निकलिए ऐसा, फिर विराट स्वरूप में निकलिए और कहिए कि आईकेएस देखिए कैसे घुसता है मैनेजमेंट में, कैसे जाता है साइंस में, कैसे जाता है सोशल साइंस में, कैसे जाता है इकोनॉमिक्स में। यह जरूरी है। दूसरी बात, we should not do something connected to IKS. Number one, because Sanskrit scripture also says that this is like this, and one Nobel Prize winner has said 10 years back, तो हम हल्ला करने लगे, अरे देखिए देखिए, Nobel Prize winner is saying that it is also in Sanskrit scripture. अरे तो पहले से था तो आप खोजे, उससे पहले क्यों नहीं खोज लिया? देखिए देखिए हमारे यहां भी है। अब कोई कहे कि कालिदास जो है वो संस्कृत के शेक्सपियर थे, तो शेक्सपियर 16वीं शताब्दी में आए, कालिदास पहले हुए। आपको कहना चाहिए शेक्सपियर कालिदास जैसे थे, और हम खुश इसी में है कि कालिदास शेक्सपियर जैसे हैं। इससे हमें बचना होगा। देखिए देखिए पहले से ही कहा था। और दूसरा कि इन द सेम लैंग्वेज इट इज ऑल्सो देयर। नो, मैं कंक्लूड करूंगा दो बात कह करके। फॉर इंप्लीमेंटिंग आईकेएस इन इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम, certainly we have to work at various levels. Students have to be prompted towards that, and professors need to deeply more invest time and energy into that area. और दो काम कर रहे हैं। Number one, there is no dividing wall between Western thought and IKS. First postulate we have to have. Knowledge anywhere is knowledge. But IKS has said so many things. If I would have taken some class on what IKS to say on management, I have so many ideas to share that what modern literature, which mostly developed in Western country and especially America, management books are not saying it. Not saying it. Yes, yesterday I was discussing with one or two friends that management book talks about fact, never uses the word truth. But managers, leaders, and decision makers should also be a person who should be interested in searching for truth, because many facts are truth, but some facts are not truth. Many things are not there in management literature because their thought process is not like that which IKS has. For example, when Upanishad says para pashyanti madhyama vaikari, through 4 stages communication passes through, this is not dealt in Western book. They only say sender and decoding process and media channel and decoding. First is encoding, receiver, 3 types of barriers. This is the process of communication. That's why you should wonder sometime why some person with some grammatical mistake and very limited vocabulary basket is better communicator than other person who is master of vocabulary and grammatically correct and phonetics is well trained. Why it is so? Upanishad gives answer through para pashyanti madhyama vaikhari. दो बातें करनी है जो आईकेएस में है और कहीं नहीं है, वो दुनिया के लाभ के लिए, अपना मुंह ऊंचा करने के लिए नहीं कि देखो ये रहा आईकेएस, सारा दुनिया हमारा है। तो जो नहीं है वो दे। और दूसरा, whatever has been established by Western model, let IKS be able to improvise that. ये दो कंट्रीब्यूशन हमें करना है विश्व कल्याण के लिए। अयंग निजः परो वेति गणना लघु चेतसाम उदार चरितानांतुम वसुधैव कुटुंबकम। महोपनिषद इसका आधार है। इस सूत्र का, वसुधैव कुटुंबकम जो हम सुनते रहते हैं, इसका स्रोत महोपनिषद है। इस तरह से आईकेएस के बारे में हमें गंभीर कार्य करने हैं और है बड़ा सरस। और हम लोग सब शिक्षक गण हैं यहाँ पर। जितना ही गहराई में काम किया जाए, रस उतना ही मिलता है। हम इस रसधार में बहें और इस मार्ग में प्रवाहित हों। बहुत धन्यवाद।
I think we'll take questions after both the sessions. I'll request the for the next session.
Okay, no? Good afternoon, everyone. I and my colleague will be presenting about the two initiatives and how we are going to implement or how we are going to build up the backbone for the national education policy. I think the floor is already set. Benchmark बहुत ऊपर चला गया है. And to be very honest, sir, we are not teachers, we are not faculty members. So it's an honor for me standing on the dais, sharing the dais with people like you and the people who are off the dais right now. It's an honor for us that we are able to stand, able to deliver something which we are doing in the last 4-5 years. Contributing was the government initiatives. So let me just begin with the APAR, the Academic Bank of Credits and DigiLocker, what exactly these are. So why do we need the education DPI? I hope everybody is speaking about DPIs right now. Why do we need it? I think all the faculty members who are almost legendary people right now, and if you can look at the previous stage and the current stage, what is happening? It was fragmented identity across schools, universities, boards. So every institution was working as in silos, as it was mentioned by the sir as well. कि अपने discussion में भी कहा क्या है कि हर institution अपना काम कर रहा है, लेकिन हमें integrate करना है. That is what is required, and that is what we look forward. Manual verification. This is what we do. Actually, right now is happening. That you send a document, it was verified. वो बाद में जाएगा admission के लिए, clearance के लिए. ये चीज़ खत्म करनी है सर. Paper certificates, vulnerability to forgery. I'll give a very nice example on this. Recently, we got an email from one of the institutions stating that a student has claimed a certificate that this is original. And when we validate that certificate, everything was fine. But the QR code, which was present on the DigiLocker certificate, was giving a metadata coming from the genuine source of truth. When we scan the QR code, the actual data came in that is the certificate has been forged. तो ये चीज eliminate हो जाती है जब आपके पास में digital certificates हैं. Elevated risk of fraud and impersonation. Disconnected repositories, as I said, हर institution अपना काम कर रहा है, मुझे दूसरों से मतलब नहीं है. Say for example, IGNOU है या फिर Delhi University है. Just to quote an example, I'm just giving it. IGNOU and Delhi University are working, both of them are the central universities, they are both working in silos. But if I want to integrate this curriculum structure, whatever it is, it has to be integrated. It is not right now. This is an actual cost, actual scenario which I've seen in the past. There is a cost of almost 100-150 rupees, depending upon the university, depending upon the volume of the students who are studying. एक सर्टिफिकेट को प्रिंट करने का कॉस्ट आता है, सिक्योरिटी पैरामीटर्स होते हैं हर सर्टिफिकेट में, बच्चों को कुरियर करना, यदि वो पहुंचा नहीं पहुंचा या फिर वापस से डुप्लीकेट सर्टिफिकेट पहुंचाना है, ये सारा एक कॉस्ट है विच इज़ द यूनिवर्सिटीज आर एक्चुअली इंकरिंग. With the help of digital certificates, you are almost eliminating all those things. You, on a fraction of seconds, I think my colleague Yashika will be saying this, that I think IGNOU is also participating or giving the live certificates on the day of convocation to the students. So person who is sitting remotely, even in Chennai or any remote place, or in as ma'am was saying in his discussion as well, कि IGNOU में बाहर के बच्चे भी हैं, so they are also able to get the certificates online on the same moment of time. This is what we are actually trying to build up. No audit trail, deliver हुआ नहीं हुआ, certificate किसके पास पहुंचा, किसने receive किया, I have no track on that. With the help of digital certificates, you know who is able to access, who is able to share the document, who is accessing the document. I have every document trail of this thing, and that can be verified by any user. Now, best part comes in is the consent. यहाँ पर मुझे नहीं मालूम है मेरा सर्टिफिकेट कौन देख रहा है, किसके पास है, मैंने किसको दिया, मेरे को कुछ नहीं पता. Whereas if I have certificate in digital format, I know to whom I'm shared, who is going to verify, and when, till what period I am able to share the document with the consent authority. So that is what I think most of you people might be aware of the DPDP Act as well. Consent, which is what is mainly required as of now. हम बहुत सी न्यूज़ अभी मॉर्निंग में भी डिस्कशन हो रहा था कि लास्ट 25 दिनों में 20 दिनों में एजुकेशन के जो scenarios चल रहे थे, it is all put in the papers, but again it has to be consent. Data share हो रहा है बिना किसी के पते. Bank of Baroda का कल का very recent stake was a Bank of Baroda का 1.5 million data was leaked into the public. Four pillars: identity, trust, mobility, or foundation. I think these are the 5 synonyms for the NEP-2020. So APAR एक identity layer है, which is a unique 12-digit number. DigiLocker एक trust layer है, जो कि आप consent based document exchange कर रहे हैं. It's a document exchange gateway, you can say. It's a जहाँ पर अपना document आप रख सकते हैं, store कर सकते हैं, share कर सकते हैं, और revoke कर सकते हैं. और नेशनल एकेडमिक डिपॉजिटरी एक कॉमन इंटीग्रेटेड सर्विस पोर्टल है जहां पर आप अवार्डिंग बॉडीज, नॉट ओनली अवार्डिंग बॉडीज, जो भी इश्यूइंग अथॉरिटीज़ हैं, से फॉर एग्जांपल द यूनिवर्सिटीज़, ऑटोनोमस कॉलेजेस, स्टैंडअलोन इंस्टीट्यूशंस, INIs, all this put up their degree certificates or the academic records onto this portal. And finally the academic bank of credits. Both of them are slightly interlinked. National Academic Depository has a legacy, can have a legacy data from almost say 1948 onwards, starting, or maybe from any starting year of the institution, whereas Academic Bank of Credits is limited from 2021. So basically Academic Bank of Credits, as it mentions, it's a storage for the credits, or it's a platform wherein the credits can be accumulated. In terms, यदि मैं इसको simplify करूँ, हमारे पास में हर मतलब आई थिंक द स्टूडेंट्स माइट नॉट बी हैविंग इट, बट आई विल गिव एन एग्जांपल फॉर बोथ ऑफ देम. सो पैन कार्ड, every salaried person must be having a PAN card. So PAN card is synonym to APAR ID, and the person who is depositing credits or who is actually putting the TDS or making the TDS deductions is the person where the person is working. So in the similar way, every account, savings account, has a unique number through which it is identified. Someone can deposit money. So Academic Bank of Credits functions in the similar way, wherein the credits can be deposited by any awarding body. Again, having said that, it has to be coming from the genuine source of truth or reputed organizations. NEP visions flexible, multidisciplinary, technology-enabled education system with credit mobility, multiple entry exit, and lifelong academic. हर कोई यदि NEP के बारे में एक सेंटेंस निकालेंगे हम कहीं पर भी, तो यही सबसे पहली चीज़ यही आएगी, मल्टीडिसिप्लिनरी, आपका फ्लेक्सिबल होना चाहिए, मल्टीपल एंट्री, मल्टीपल एग्जिट. एंड व्हाट सर हैज सेड कि ऑन ए स्केल ऑफ 10 ही हैज पुट अप NEP डॉक्यूमेंट ऑन 5.6, आई गेस सर.
No, document more than 9.
नहीं, द implementation. So I agree with sir. We are actually not actually implementing the NEP on a holistic thing, which is what is required. We are just initially in the accumulation phase. Credits accumulate हो रहे हैं, APAR IDs generate हो रहे हैं, but क्या इसका vision जो है, NEP का vision जो है कि holistic approach starting from the school or the granular level, it has to come. It is not at function, or it has not begun right now. So APAR, which is an identity layer, Academic Bank of Credits is a credit layer, multiplied by DigiLocker NAD, which is credentials, form the technical backbone. They are the population scale interoperable, government-backed, defining cases for India's digital public infrastructure. As on date, we have 26 crores valid or verified APAR IDs. All these APAR IDs are uniquely identified using the Aadhaar. DigiLocker uses almost 70 crores users have a DigiLocker account right now. 900 plus digital certificates we have. This comprises, DigiLocker has multiple documents which I'll be putting it across in my next slides. We have almost 2,800 plus institutions, awarding bodies which are registered on the portal for issuing their academic certificates.
Thank you, sir. So I'll start with APAR ID, what sir had told earlier, that we can give an example that everyone is using the PAN card. So in the student journey, his academic journey, student is having the APAR ID, that is Automated Permanent Academic Account Registry. So this is a 12-digit ID card. अगर मैं अपनी स्कूल और कॉलेज टाइम की बात करूँ, so we have different roll numbers, registration numbers. We have to remember all these things when we go to the college for the degree or certificates. Now, if student has one APAR ID, he or she can check his credits earned in his academic journey. So what students, if I'll talk about what challenges they were facing before the APAR ID was launched, that repeated submission of documents. So student has to get their all documents. If I'll talk about the IGNOU, what earlier Honorable VC ma'am has shared, that Jan Jan Vishwavidyalaya. So if student is in Chennai and unko wahan se documents fetch karna hai, documents chahiye, so he or she has to come back or travel for their degree or certificates before the APAR ID or NAD has launched. And institution control record. So student can't access the document anywhere in the foreign or in across the India. Fragmented, and it is hard to access anywhere. And difficulty mobility across schools. So we have introduced APAR IDs in the schools also. Next, after this APAR ID has been instituted, the digitally stored and the documents are linked to the learner. And it is easily accessible anywhere, because students now or everyone is using their mobile phones, and digitally we are doing digital India transformation. So everyone has access that they can access their documents anywhere. Next, it is portable and verified records. The students can share their records to any employer side, any verification process. Also, it is smoother transition across the different academic institutions. What are the impacts of the APAR ID? The student at the center, improve mobility and continuity. It will reduce the duplication, as earlier Gaurav sir has said. The paperless, we are moving towards the paperless e-government. Also, greater employment of learners and families. And next thing will be the APAR single sign-on integration. The university examination and the admission portals have already integrated with the APAR IDs. Student can verify their APAR IDs. In IGNOU, if I'll talk about the DEB ID and APAR ID, both are verified. The National Apprenticeship Training Schemes have introduced, the National Career Services, the National Scholarship Portals, National Council for Training Teacher Education, and if I'll talk about the Air India flight, might be students who are sitting here or the faculty members, they don't know that if the student have their unique APAR ID, if they are traveling with the Air India, now they can get 10% instant discounts by using their APAR ID. And also additional luggage is allowed if student has the APAR ID, validate APAR ID. So if I'll talk about the APAR ID statistics, currently the 26.33 plus crores APAR IDs that are verified APAR IDs we have, and total we have 16.61 crore learners who are attached to the NAD or APAR IDs. 4.78 crore learners we have. Next is the skill education. We have introduced after the higher education, school educations, we have introduced 1.4 crores plus learners in the skill certificates also. So next I'll talk about the academic bank of credit. So our theme is one nation, one student and one academic bank of credit. So student does not need to have different IDs, different registration roll number. They don't need to remember this. So total in India right now 3040 plus academic institutions are registered with the NAD and ABC. 2.92 plus crores ABC account are seeded with credits. So these credits are linked with the APAR ID. 9.89 crores academic reports map with the ABC account. So how ABC, Academic Bank of Credit, works? The credit awarding institutions, which are universities, colleges, skill, and the boards, they integrate with the ABC, and the credits the students have earned in his or her academic journey, students can transfer those credits, earn those credits, or accumulate these credits. Credit mobility and benefits. So the next is what are the academic mobility and benefits of the credits? Academic flexibility. Student can do the multiple entry and multiple exit. Multidisciplinary acts, what we are talking about the NEP-2020. Academic projection. Student can transfer those credits while getting admission in different academic institution, and recognition of learning. The next will be the key benefits of the ABC. It is a student generic. Students own their credits in the learning achievements, the credit mobility, the transfer and the redeem of the credits across all the academic institutions. The academic flexibility, the multiple entry and multiple exit options in the education sector. The ABC, or Academic Bank of Credit, it's transparent, secure, that all the data records of the students are digitally stored and verifiable and tamper-proof credits. And these credits are lifetime learning, the supports lifelong learning and continuous academic growth of the students. How ABC work? Student, when registered to the NAD abc.gov.in portal, the credit awarded, all the credits which he or has earned in his academic journey, has uploaded by in the National Academic Depository by the academic institution. Those credit deposited will be reflected in the student ABC account. And these credits can be transferable. And those credits student can redeem. So next I'll talk about the DigiLocker NAD, because here we are together for the DigiLocker NAD and APC, how their role is in their NEP 2020. The academic awarding institutions, the university, autonomous colleges, the INIs, the boards, the other awarding institutes, they upload the data of the student degree, certificates, mark sheet, diploma, even the student ID card also. And these digital academic records, the degree, mark sheet, diploma, certificates are available in the NAD portal. Student can fetch those documents from the DigiLocker. Those documents accessed by awarding institution benefits the employer, accessed by the awarding any institution. Those documents are integrated by the ERP system and directly uploaded by the issuer body. So there is no negligence. So there is no mediator in the API system. So secure issuance of the digital awards, reductance and eliminates issue of the duplicates rewards. What we were doing in the paper government while giving the mark sheets or a degree certificate, now students can get those documents available anywhere. Consent-based real-time online and reliable verification process, as in the mark sheets and certificate the QR code is available, so student can share those QR code with the academic institutions.
Just to add one more part on this, we have also come up with the verifiable credentials on the similar lines. So whatever data which has been uploaded on the National Academic Depository, a QR code is generated. That can be shared with the respective institution or the third-party organization who wants to verify that particular certificate. The student can share the document in an encrypted way, the QR code. The QR code is an encrypted metadata of the complete certificate, which that particular organization can consume that URI or URL and then decode it with the help of the secret key that has been provided to that particular organization, and then it can be verified. So the complete process is seamless, and this has been recently been implemented, that every document, basically right now I'll say the degree certificates have been transitioned to the verifiable credentials. So sharing in the similar pattern, where if you see the Paytms, how many people of you have used Paytms? QR code jo hum log pay karte hain. So you scan a QR code, the payment is deducted. On the similar grounds, we have created the verifiable credentials. This is more interesting side. Everybody, because the last 3 slides which I was referring to was basically meant for the academic institutions, whereas DigiLocker, this is for all the citizens. So we have almost 70 crores, as we mentioned, 900 plus crore documents. What are the different type of documents that are available, and what other documents can also be part of the DigiLocker ecosystem or not? Yes, it can be part. So class 10th mark sheet, 12th mark sheet, degree, diploma, APAR ID, these are all coming from the education side. I have driving license, a vehicle registration certificate, ration card, caste certificate, income certificate, land registration, policy documents, name the document, I have it in DigiLocker. So these are all coming from the genuine source of truth. These are all in the issued document section, which are verified, validated, and as I said, it is coming from the genuine source of truth. You can share this document. Apart from that, we have other documents which are not verified. Say for example, a person who has completed his 10th or 12th, maybe in the 1970 or 77 or during the late 90s, So his document might not be available on the DigiLocker, but that person can actually upload his document into the into the drive section of the DigiLocker. So we have given 1 GB of space to every user on the DigiLocker who can put their certificates which are not available right now on the DigiLocker, and that can be shared. Again, these are self-attested documents. We don't take the authenticity of these documents. So verified digital documents, secure document sharing, anytime, anywhere, mobile, web, Umang, paperless governance, real-time verification. This is what we are actually looking forward for. The DigiLocker services are being used by Income Tax Department, UADI, universities, Ministry of Road Transport Authority. How many of you people have recently filled up an application form in the passport services? Have you used DigiLocker services? So that's the use case. You need not carry documents. Even the ministry, the passport services says that you don't come with us with the documents. You directly upload it from the DigiLocker. And ma'am, how much time did you took it for uploading the documents? Seamless. So that's the advantage. You are not going to stand in queues. You're not going to waste your time. You are not going to look forward कि अब क्या होगा, मेरे को कुछ वो नहीं चाहिए. Straight away directly upload, go to the center, upload from there itself, no issues. So that's the best part. One more example. How many people are using DigiYatra? Quite a few people. Good. So at the back, DigiLocker is what is the backbone for the DigiYatra services as well. How many people know about the Agniveer, the Ministry of Defense? Very few. So Ministry of Defense Agniveer project, all the recruitment happened through the DigiLocker. They have quoted that the duration time of verification has reduced from 90 days to 15 days. So all the people, all the recruitment for Agniveer happened through this. Very recently, we have got Ministry of Postal Department as well as the Ministry of Railways, who is going to take up the railways recruitment completely through DigiLocker verification service. So this is what I wanted to say, that upload the data as much as possible for the benefit of the candidates, benefit of the students, benefit of the citizens, so that no person is left behind. This is the time, as Sir has just quoted, this is the time when the students are to be at the advantage stage, rather than as the same thing has been mentioned in the NEP as well. Everything is in the hands of student. How does a DigiLocker ecosystem work? We have seen that data uploading which is happening, data coming from the different source of truth. How do I share my document? I hope the screen is visible. Yeah. DigiLocker acts as a mediatory. Issuing departments uploads the documents onto the portal or on the repository services. That it can be accessed either on the web, mobile, or iOS, anything on, you can access the certificate. The requester services, this is what my area comes in. So this is what I'm doing right now. All the verification, as in the previous slide you have seen what Yashika mentioned, that the National Career Service Portal, the NSP, the National Teachers Portal, NCTE, National Council for Teachers Education, the NATS portal, Apprenticeship portal, all of them are integrated to the APAR ID. The student just need to log in, and even the recent exam, which is for the UGC NET, there also the Meri Pehchan single sign-on was integrated, that is DigiLocker again, wherein with the help of login mechanism of the Aadhaar or APAR, they are able to share the documents, give a consent to the end user, and that is compliance with the DPDP Act. So there is no manual verification happening. There is all complete digital format, data exchange happening, and the data when it is exchanged, the end user gets in a PDF as well as in the XML format. The best part is that the application form which you are going to fill up is auto-filled rather than manually entering the name, date of birth, gender, the percentage of marks. All these things are eliminated. So we are trying to reduce the manual errors as well.
So we'll discuss about the benefits of ABC and APAR. As Gaurav sir has said about the DigiLocker, so now if we'll talk about the benefits, the academic flexibility. The student have flexible that freedom to choose any courses what IGNOU is already doing. The credit accumulation, the student can earn, store and transfer those credits across the different academic institutions. The learning across institutions, they can choose any courses from multiple higher educations and build their own learning path. The better employability, industry-aligned skills or different skill courses they can opt for to credits improve job readiness. The secure academic records, the APAR ID ensure the digital, securable, authentic and lifelong records, because in the ABC or APAR, all the credits which student has accumulated in or his academic journey that can be stored and that can be accessed lifelong. So multiple entry and multiple exit according to the NEP also, the exit return and continue to the student can continue his or her journey in any seamless anytime. The recognized final awards. To get the certificates, the diploma, the degree, wherever the student is eligible, they can share these education documents. The personalized learning. The student can tailor the degree or modify the courses as per the student needs. The lifelong learning, as ma'am has, Honorable VC ma'am has showed that more than 50% women are taken admission to the IGNOU, and most are the persons are from the rural areas. So those people or those students who are not able to continue their study, so now with the access of the ABC APAR, their credits can be stored in their ABC or APAR ID. They can learn anytime, anywhere, and they can upgrade their skills at any age of course. Inclusivity and accessibility. Equal access to the quality of the education and to the forever learner. So the one APAR ID, only 12-digit APAR ID student can remember and they can share anywhere for the credits for their academic records.
Yep. So this is what, as it is envisioned in the NEP, the holistic approach or the holistic curriculum or the holistic development of the student starts from the school level itself. So I've just bifurcated the complete journey of the student into multiple stages, that is 9 stages, starting from the school, where in the school the student gets admitted to the school and an APAR ID is created. So as we showed in you, the earlier slides, so 16 crores IDs have been created at the school level. Then the student migrates to the higher education, but before that I'll say one more thing. The CBSE as well as the 10th and the 12th board. So few boards are actually involving in issuing the certificates with the APAR ID. So all these certificates are directly pushed to the student's DigiLocker account. Immaterial if they don't have a credit, but if it is linked with the APAR ID, the certificates are directly pushed to the DigiLocker. Higher education, as everybody is aware that the credits system is not yet inculcated in the school education. Higher education have a credits, so credit accrual is there. Finally, once the student completes his journey, the higher education, either completing in the 1 year, 2 years, the final and the 3 years of course, depending upon the duration, he will be giving a certificate or a diploma or a degree certificate. It is all available at one place, that is the DigiLocker. The credits are accumulated in the ABC account of the candidate. The candidate or the student can share any of these accolades, either by its skill, by credits or the experiential learning, and as sir has also mentioned in his discussion that IKS, the credits for IKS can also be accumulated into ABC, and this can be part for the people who are taking or who are searching for the employment. And at that moment of time, this can be verified depending upon the potentiality of the candidate. The recruitment agencies can hire the people. So once it is completed, the employment recruitment, and then the lifelong journey or the student's journey still continues in case of upscaling with the other courses as well. So what are the various touch points? The admission portals, the examination portals, the scholarship portal, education loan, recruitment, licensing, which is, I'll say, examination bodies. The cross-border, we are not only concentrating on the use case of APAR, ABC, and the National Academic Depository, limited to the Indian education framework. We are actually looking forward for the across the borders, wherein the same certificate of the candidate can be verified by a person, by a university, who, whenever a student is going for abroad studies. Reskilling, that is also possible, that in case the MOOC SWAYAM, as 40% or the 50% of the credits can be accumulated from the skill or the MOOC. That is what UGC has also mentioned. So that can also be part of the, that is also part of the student touch points. Everything we have said, what is why I should adopt. So every stakeholder, we have categorized into 8 stages, again here. Learners, the institutions, the government, the employers, the awarding bodies, regulators, the scholarship agencies, and the state governments. So these are all the stakeholders of this ecosystem. So learners, as we have clearly identified that what is the benefits for them. The institutions, as I said, we don't have to print the certificates, that's a lower administrative cost. Verification becomes easy. The government is trying to, the vision of the government is to, or the NEP vision stands for the GER to be around 56%. I'm sorry if my figures are wrong. I'll say, the other way around, I'll put to improve the GER ratio. So this will help the government as well to reduce the fraud and everything. The employers can actually verify whether the certificate or the credits or the educational accolades of the candidates are actually verified or not. Awarding bodies, they need not have to have multiple places to store. This is all available at one single place. They need not put in multiple certificates to the candidates. These are tamper-proof. Adding to that, we are also coming with the blockchain services, wherein it builds up the trust factor. Continuous compliance. We are actually in compliance with the UGC, AICT, NCT aligned real-time accreditations, the NAC accreditations as well. I think I was having a discussion, but it's not coming in the pictures right now. Scholarship agencies. The National Scholarship portal is actually trying to have the verification done with the of the candidates with the APAR ID, and they want to link this thing with the scholarship distribution as well, and that benefit. So what happens is that the same candidate is receiving multiple scholarships from multiple portals. This will also reduce that. State governments, as the data is exchangeable to the state government as well as the center. So this is the data can be exchanged to the secured APIs or with the consent of the candidate. This is the holistic figure of IGNOU, and I think this stands a huge lot of applause for IGNOU for putting up their academic records on the DigiLocker. We have close to 53 lakhs data on the set. 46 lakhs are degree certificate. Ma'am was mentioning that around 3.2 lakhs candidate pass out every year or the convocation happens. So if I just divide 46 crores by 3, it comes down to around 16 years data which is already residing on the portal. That's a huge, thank you ma'am for this support. We have 4.66 lakh mark sheets. I know there were issues earlier with the integration part and then uploading the data because the system integration could not happen, but nevertheless, once begin, the journey is started. Today we stand, as ma'am was also discussing, that we need to transform NEP's vision to India's educational DPI. So NEP lays the vision, APAR and establish the learner's digital identity. ABC empowers flexible and lifelong journey. Through credit mobility, DigiLocker provides secure, verifiable academic credentials. Together, these initiatives can create an integrated digital education system that supports student mobility, transparency, that is what Sir was saying, and lifelong learning, key pillars of India's journey towards Viksit Bharat 47, sorry. So my humble request to let's join, let's help to build up this transparent, trustworthy, and efficient academic ecosystem for every learner in India. Thank you very much.
Can we have a few quick questions in case they are there? We don't have time for questions. Thank you. So the takeaway from both the sessions is that yes, we are moving towards inculcating IKS in our curriculum, and as suggested by him, that it could be either IKS or it could be different components in different courses, or it could be an integration of IKS in our curricula. So let's try to have more IKS in our curricula, and we are moving towards Digital India as the figures also show. I think we are quite progressive in that. Now I'd request Dr. Vijeta to take over, please.
Thank you so much for informative and insightful sessions. May I now invite Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Uma Kanjilal, to kindly felicitate our distinguished guest, Dr. P.K. Singh, as a token of our gratitude and appreciation. Yes. Let us express our gratitude through a big round of applause. The Madhubani painting that we are presenting to our guest is created by our master's students, School of Performing and Visual Arts, under the supervision of Professor Lakshman, Director of School of Performing and Visual Arts. May I now request ma'am to kindly felicitate Mr. Gaurav Khare, Senior Manager, Digital India Corporation. May I now request ma'am to kindly felicitate Ms. Yashika Sharma, Assistant Manager, Digital India Corporation. Thank you so much. With permission of Chair, we conclude session 1. Both the lectures in the session were extremely insightful. Before we move to session 2, I have a quick announcement to make. We have found a wallet in auditorium. If it belongs to someone, or if you know somebody has lost, they can verify the details and collect it from the stage. After lunch, they can collect it from Lost and Found department. We have found a wallet in the auditorium. After an enriching first session, we now move to session 2, Shaping Viksit Bharat, the Skill and Education Synergy. I extend a heartfelt welcome to all in this session 2. The vision of Viksit Bharat at the rate 2047 calls for a nation that is economically strong and at the same time socially inclusive and technologically advanced. Recognizing this imperative, the NEP-2020 has placed unprecedented emphasis on integrating education with skill development. IGNOU is also playing a pioneering role by making quality education and skill development accessible to millions of learners across the country. Further strengthening this commitment, the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship and IGNOU signed a MOU in December 2025 to jointly expand India's skilling ecosystem. To deliberate on the theme, Shaping Viksit Bharat, the Skill and Education Synergy, we are privileged to have with us Dr. Neena Pahuja, former executive member NCVET. She will deliver a talk on embedding skilling in education, National Credit Framework as an enabler. We welcome you, ma'am. We also feel privileged to have with us Mr. Praveen Roy, Advisor, Confederation of Indian Industry, who will share his insights on industry perspective on NEP 2020 implementation. We welcome you, sir. I also extend a warm welcome to the moderator of the session, Professor Paramita Suklabedya, Professor in Tourism and Hospitality Service Management. May I request Dr. Neena Pahuja, ma'am is already here, Mr. Praveen Roy, and Professor Paramita Suklabedya to kindly take their seats on the dais. I also request Professor Paramita to kindly throw some light on the theme and moderate the session.
Embedding skill education.
May I request Professor Paramita to kindly set the stage for the discussion and moderate this session.
Thank you, Dr. Vijayatha. A very good afternoon to all. A very warm welcome to all our distinguished guests on and off the dais, Honorable Vice Chancellor Ma'am, Directors of Schools, officials of IGNOU, faculty members, and my dear students present here. We had a very interesting first session, and to keep the thought process going, in this second session, the theme is Shaping Viksit Bharat, the Skill and Education Synergy. This theme is important for all of us, the teachers especially, as we know that we have almost 65% of the population in the age group below 35, which means employable age. But interestingly, industry believes that 53% of our graduate students are unemployable. And it is a great challenge, what kind of skills we have to impart to them so that they can get the employability skills. So now we can honestly say that the degrees that youths are earning are not helping them, but it always pays to learn the skills which will help them get employment. And it gives me immense pleasure to say that IGNOU is moving forward in this manner in imparting skills. Along with the National Council for Vocational Education and Training, NCVET, as we commonly say, which plays an important role in imparting skill educations and skill-based courses, IGNOU is offering 3 QPs, 3 qualification packs, namely Nurse Manager, Executive Emergency Healthcare, and Fundamentals of Waste Management from this academic session. and most importantly, we are getting admission requests in thousands, especially in our healthcare certificates, but the number of seats are limited. So we are on the right way, I believe. IGNOU is going in the right path. And there is another interesting thing. Since 2023, IGNOU is recognized as an awarding body, and from March 2026, IGNOU is recognized as an institute of national importance and has dual AB, that is both awarding and an assessment body certification, as awarded by National Skill Qualification Council, that is NSQF. But to come back to the theme and to set tone for this session, we have to understand the synergy between education and how skills can be embedded in them. And for that, we have two very excellent speakers with us today. One is Dr. Neena Pahuja, who is a former executive member of NCVET, and Mr. Praveen Roy, who is an advisor with the Confederation of Indian Industry, that is CII. The first speaker for today is Dr. Pahuja, who is an alumni of IIT Delhi, and her PhD work is on scheduling algorithms for multimedia on network with focus on video on demand, and she has publications on parallel processing. Dr. Pahuja is a technology and policy leader with more than 35 years of experience across government, regulatory bodies, and global enterprises, with proven track record in shaping national skilling and education policies, driving digital transformation, and implementing large-scale technology initiatives across healthcare, education, and industry. As an executive member of NCVET, Government of India, she was instrumental in creation and implementation of National Credit Framework and related skilling and educational policies. As a Director General, EarnNet India, she led national initiatives on IoT, digital connectivity, smart education, and startup ecosystem. She also brings experience from private sectors such as Genpact, Max Healthcare, and TCS. Nevertheless, we can always say that she is somebody with strong expertise in governance, digital strategy, risk management, and public-private ecosystem building. As of now, she is currently working on advisory roles in skilling ecosystem, where she has supported extension of skilling of AI readiness, which is AI skilling in different business verticals, including healthcare, apparel, retail, manufacturing, beauty, and wellness sector. She is also a Senate member at IIT Delhi and has authored a book on AI-driven industrial transformation. Ma'am, we look forward to hearing from you on your topic, Embedding Skilling in Education, National Credit Framework as an Enabler.
A very good morning and good afternoon. Uma, thank you so much for inviting. You have a beautiful campus. I think courtesy this meeting today, at least I visited IGNOU's beautiful and green campus, and it was wonderful being here. And of course, I enjoyed the IKS talk, sir. Thank you so much. It was really enlightening. I think I learned a lot. I've been associated, of course, with the NEGD team when they were working on the APAR implementation. So hats off, you're doing a wonderful job. And I'm sure lots will be done. And I think congratulations to the complete IGNOU team for organizing this at such a short notice. All of you are really wonderful to be able to organize this. It's not easy to organize an event of this scale at such a short notice. Today is a very important day for all of us, actually. I mean, we are here because it's 6 years completion of NEP-2020. But there's something more also today, which is Buddha Purnima. I'm sure it was mentioned before I came in here. So my pranam to all the teachers sitting here. I'm not a teacher, but I certainly attempt to be a teacher at times. But I think teaching is a very, very noble profession. And for all the teachers and professors who are sitting here, I'm sure you've been able to create a lot of students. And NEP is something in that particular direction. So I think both have coincided, NEP 2020 anniversary and Buddha Purnima. It's a coincidence, but I think that's how it's happened. We, from a very learned professor, got 9 on 10 on NEP-2020, which I think is superb, like he said. But we also got 5, I'm saying we, because it's not one person who's trying to implement NEP-2020. It's all of us together who are actually responsible for implementation of NEP-2020. And it's a vision document, but I think responsibility for implementation of such a huge document is with all of us. And it's just 6th year. And he's given us 5.5 or 6 actually on 10. Personally, I feel it's not bad. I'll tell you why. When you implement a system at such a large scale, you're trying to change every student of this country, every teacher of this country, every parent of this country. There's a lot of change management and every system of this country to implement the beautiful vision of 2020. I think we've done wonders, actually, if you ask me, to do this implementation. There's too much to be done, actually, still. But I think that's the way life is. Because every sentence of NEP 2020 actually has such a strong meaning in it that implementation will take time. That's my personal opinion, and I'm sure everybody can have a different opinion. But let me go back to some of my industry experience. When I started my career, and I started my career with TCS way back in '83, more than 40 years back, actually. We were put through a training for 3 months. Now it's a 6 months training they go through. So when I joined government way back, so my question always has been, why that 3 months or 6 months? Why couldn't that 3 months and 6 months be part of my educational curriculum? More. I'll give you experience of Max Healthcare. I joined Max Healthcare sometimes in 2009. I was a CIO there, and I was given a very difficult task of implementation of electronic health records in the Max Healthcare. By that time, we not had any success of implementation of electronic healthcare in India. Today also, there are very few of them only. It was a difficult task, and I knew that there is a chance of a failure also. I was a technologist. I didn't know anything about medicine. The first thing which I did was actually to sit down with doctors and learn about their pain points and understand what the systems were. Why am I talking about this in this audience? There's a need for cross-sectoral skills. You cannot implement anything anywhere unless you understand the business requirements of that particular function. So just trying to give you 2 examples before I start why what is NEP talking about, and what are we trying to do there, and how is the National Credit Framework going to help there. The National Credit Framework talks about cross-sectoral learning. I cannot do anything in healthcare, believe me, unless I learn the issues, the problems, the pain points, and the positive points of healthcare, and what a patient wants, what a doctor wants, what a nurse wants. Similarly, if I need to be really wanting quick churn out of students who start working day 0 in an organization, I need to possibly take the industry training back to the colleges, embed the industry requirement into the colleges or the training institution. That's how, I think, that's something I'm trying to give you an example of what is happening. So I think NEP, together with NCRF, which is the credit framework, really was a vision around some of these ideas. More. I still remember in Ministry of Electronics when I was there, we had one of our secretaries, who of course has retired now, who joined IIT at one time. And he realized that, and he used to tell us his story, personal story. He says, I did not like IIT. After 6 months or 1 year of being in IIT, I did not like IIT, and I didn't want to continue in IIT. And I wanted to pursue something else. So he came out of IIT, he joined another college, and he pursued his education. Of course, he was one of the younger secretaries and was in MeitY for a long time and did fabulously well. But he was very clear he didn't want to pursue a particular line, and he went into another line. But did we give him the credits that he earned during the 1 year of his stay in IIT? No. So the 1 year of IIT possibly that he spent in, he did not get benefit of the learnings that he had in that. Now for all of us, for all students, there are times we get into a particular line of education, but we realize that this is not the line we want to pursue, or we want to take something extra. So there is a need for multiple entry, multiple exit, but also I should be able to carry my credits there. But multiple entry, multiple exit has something more. There are children who are not able to continue their education for reasons for a long time. Could we also support them that they take 1 year of education, come back after 1 year, and continue their education? That's also another reason of multiple entry, multiple exit. So these are some of the basic reasons, which I'm sure NEP thought about as part of the vision document. But our thought when we were creating the National Credit Framework was, how do we enable these thoughts as part of the systems which can be done and be available as even a part or as system that we have, the ABC that we have. Sorry. Just next. All right, perfect. Perfect. So I was asked to shorten my presentation. I do have a lot of slides, and I'm going to actually rush through some of the slides also. Let's look at how things are happening. I think my data is reasonably latest, but it may not be the latest. So you'll need to excuse me for that. See, we can see there are a lot of kids who join school and then they drop out, and then they drop out at different stages of their education. But what are those kids doing? Are we making them employable? Are they getting into the employment market? Are they selling samosas somewhere? Or are they becoming plumbers somewhere? Or are they becoming entrepreneurs? Or are they starting a startup? Are we supporting them enough? Or are we building a right chain for the students to ensure that they are getting their livelihood and they're able to support their families? Is something we need to look at. Because this is a figure that we have in front of us, which is actually a truth. Although we are trying to increase the GR at the higher education level, but unfortunately, fortunately, this is a reality today, right? So how do we ensure that the child who's coming out at different stages is actually available for or is tuned for working and is able to manage his or her living? That's how the thought is coming, and I think that vision, beautiful document, actually if you read through it, like I say, every line is a Bible if you look at it. There's too much that can be done, there. So there was a thought of integration. I think I've covered some of the points. The thought was, and it's been covered in different sessions, early exposure to vocational education, integrated curriculum. When I was a student in school, I actually was studying in a small place called Mandi, Jogindanagar. I don't know whether people know that place is Mandi. I think people know because there's an IIT there. Very small places in those days. But we did have some kind of vocational courses even in those days. I see the number of vocational courses now have reduced. And what actually that helped me when I joined my institute at IIT, I think I was able to manage myself, all my requirements. So a vocational education is not only helping you for employability, I think it's making you a self-sufficient person to be able to face the world also, which is required. I mean, cooking is required. You can't go to US unless, of course, you know cooking, right? I've seen a lot of kids who are going, my class fellows actually, who went to US, but they had to learn cooking before they went. They made sure they learned cooking because you can't survive. So you have to have those basic skills, and they can be integrated into the education also. Pathways. Very important that we give children a way of multiple pathways. In schools, there's a concept now we've started of vocational education so that the child knows whether he really wants to go for medicine or engineering or maybe for interior designing or for fashion designing or for beautician course or otherwise. So there are so many pathways now available, which a child can take. The other day there was an article in the newspaper which says somebody who's done social sciences or English or communication or psychology would possibly the best person who can actually design AI products or AI robots tomorrow. And I agree with him, the person who's written that article, because as an AI person, as a technologist, I only develop a robot who does something which is, mechanical. But as a psychologist or as a designer, you possibly will be able to create a person or a robot who actually does a better job. So I think the world is changing. There are too many multiple pathways. And I think it's important for us to choose which pathway we need to choose. And it's the teachers who need to possibly train also students which pathway do you need to choose. I was speaking yesterday at the Madan Mohan Malviya mission for one of the universities where they had planned that event. And one of the points which came in yesterday from the teachers was, we have students now, they start submitting assignment using ChatGPT. I'm sure some of the teachers here are also facing the same problem. My suggestion to them and my suggestion to all the teachers, I'm sure, who are facing this problem and will face this problem even more tomorrow, is change your problem. Don't give a solution, you should give some problems which can be solved by ChatGPT, but you should also try and give some problem which cannot be directly solved maybe by ChatGPT. So you also have to reinvent yourself. I still remember my college days, which is really almost now 45 plus or maybe 50 years back, is that some of our open book tests used to be the most difficult tests. And believe me, we could get any book from the library and share that knowledge, but they were the most difficult tests. So can the ChatGPT test be a difficult test? That's something which we need to design as teachers. There's more that came in NEP was recognition of prior learning. We realized that there are a lot of students. For example, sir spoke so much about IKS. I'm sure there are a lot of people who understand IKS and different parts of knowledge. But I don't know whether they have that formal certificate of that knowledge. So NEP talks about giving them a formal certificate, and of course, not to forget the credits also for it. Right? So every formal certificate which comes up with a credit which goes there. Teachers need to change, yes. Experiential learning is something we spoke about. The credit framework has been spoken about, so I will not talk so much about it. Entrepreneurship and employability, I think, is extremely important. And of course, inclusive approach. So these are some points which we've been talking about in the NEP. I'm going to go quickly through this slide. I'm sure most of you have seen this slide, but this is just for a repetition and completion. The credit framework, I'm sure you know about, talks about national curriculum framework, which is for 1 to level 4. Higher education framework, which is from 4.5 to 8. Whereas the skill framework comes from 1 to 8. And why are we talking about skill framework from 1 to 8 is because you could want to, or you may want to even skill some child who's actually doing fisheries work, who's at level maybe 1 and not educated. So you could have people at all levels, or you may even do a training course on how AI can change an organization for a CEO, which may come at level 8. So there are courses and skilling courses and upskilling courses which can come at different level, and that's why 1 to 8 is what we've given for the skilling. It's really wonderful to hear that IGNOU courses, and I know some of those got approved by my own hand, and I've seen those courses in detail, are making waves, and I'm sure there's a massive need for healthcare anyway, and good to have those healthcare courses. So if you look at it, we've got the higher education. So what we've tried doing is, we've got courses of vocational coming from, for schools, for higher education, but also from industry. One of the things that we did as part of NCVT also was, can we actually get courses from industry itself? One was that industry recognized courses. For example, when IGNOU got the courses, these courses were also sent to the healthcare industry to vet whether that's correct or not, they're correct or not. But can we actually get courses directly from healthcare organization? For example, Max Healthcare is also one of the awarding bodies now of NCVT. Can they bring the courses based on what is the kind of trainings they need? and train our students, which actually can happen. So that was one thing which was done. And of course, over a period of time, can we also do internationalization of the credits? I think that's a thought which is still there. And like he said, he's given 5.5 or 6 on us. This is one area I think we need to possibly still work on. No work, to the best of my knowledge. I'm sure there's some work has been done, but I know there's not much work that's been done on this. But a lot needs to be done there. It's a beautiful slide that was created by Dr. Kalsi, who was chairperson of NCVT. So when we saw this diagram from NEGD on academic bank of credits, it gave you a complete journey as to how a child gets credits in his ABC account. I think what was not covered, which I think we've not yet done also, and that's why it's not covered, is the Z-axis. You know, in X-axis, we've got the axis which is the education axis. And I'm sure by now you all know because you're already using APAR ID and ABC. On Y-axis, we've got the skilling part. But on the Z-axis, we've got experiential. So how do we give credits for the experience? I think that's something which also needs to be done, which will be done over a period of time. And there's work happening already as to how do we actually give credits to a startup, okay? Or how do we give credits to a hackathon that's happening? So there's work happening, which will, I'm sure, over a period of time, you'll hear about it, and they'll be put for public consultation. But how do we really do that Z-axis, which is there, is something which is happening. But I'm sure you know the rest of the axis. The axis on the education front, going from 1 to 4 is till school education. 4.5, like I mentioned, to 8 goes to the PhD level. And of course, there is the skill axis, which is there. But everywhere, there's integration of somewhere of skills. And we'll see how it happens, actually. So one thing which I just want to do for the sake of repetition, which I'm sure you must be knowing, 1,200 hours is equal to 40 credits typically. That's the kind of ballpark figure we took. An average 30 hours of learning equal to 1 credit. In colleges, however, where there's very specific kind of classroom training and children are supposed to do the learning after that also, is 15 hours equal to 1 credit, 15 hours of classroom training. So, some features of NEP, I think we've said that, and I'm not going to repeat this, but I think it also includes the faculty development, which is extremely important. Online is another part which I think the NEP talks about, and we've actually very clearly in the credit framework also said that we could use blended learning also for credit creation. And there is work happening there also. There's a special provision which has been cited currently in the current version of NCRF, not completed there, is for education acceleration, of course, is there. The moment you clear the exam, you get the credits. Olympiad and hackathon, they also can be creditized. There's work still happening as to how do we give credits. There's already some work that's happened already in Dr. Kalsi's guidance. How do we, RPL, of course, now there's a proper guideline. There's a guideline which is from NCVT. There's also a guideline from UGC. And I was part of both the committees. And UGC is now working on how do we implement RPL in the educational institute. And I'm sure in colleges like IGNOU, it will really help. So I'm sure there's some other sessions which are planned for this. Also, how do we creditize heritage learning? It certainly says Indian knowledge system, which is also there. Sports. So there's work already we are trying to do on working on sports as a skill. Performing arts, dance, etc. You know, I remember I had gone to IIT Bhubaneswar for a presentation on NCRF, long time back, around 3 years back. And we realized that there was a 1 credit they had assigned for a BTech course for Odissi dance also. So somebody who's learned Odissi dance could actually get 1 credit by actually clearing the exam of IIT Bhubaneswar, and they get the credits there. So let's go further. So what is the higher education system enabling this? This is actually a slide which speaks volume about how skilling is getting embedded in education. Actually, this slide speaks all. If you look at the UG program, which is for 120 credits, the main degree is for 60, but the rest could be skilling of different kind. So if I'm doing a BA in statistics, I could do AI also, because not today, AI is very much part of statistics, or even I should say statistics is part of AI. So there could be a value-added program which could be done here. So in fact, what we were asked by UGC was, can we actually create a program like, I'm just going to talk about, something like this, where we could embed AI for the complete stream of children who are trying to do BA in any subject. And this was done actually and achieved. This was something which, maybe it's a skilling course which is done for the students and maybe make students more employable. Now, if I look at a student who's doing, say, a BA in English and done this course, believe me, a company like Google will actually grab that child, because they're looking desperately for people who actually could, have a multidisciplinary knowledge like this, right? That is what is the power of skilling in education. And just go back to the previous slide that I had. I hope you know all this, but it's just for the sake of repetition. Now there's a concept of not only a long-term skilling, not only a short-term skilling, not only a national occupation standard, which was there, but we started a concept of micro-credential and also nano-credential. These could be small updates which could be there to your knowledge, because learning has to be a constant process. So some of these policies which were created have been created looking at the world is changing very fast. Are we ready to adapt to this changing world is what needs to be there. Now, I have this diagram which actually explains all about embedding. Now, I have a student who actually starts her journey and then has to take a break for reasons which are personal to her. Now, at that stage, she is doing a course which is a skill course as part of her work or education or evening education. And when she joins back academics, she gets the credits for that. So this is the kind of environment we are saying, multiple entry, multiple exit, so that the child gets benefit of the learning that they have. I have a lot of slides. I will leave these slides here if anybody is interested as to how different kind of courses can be embedded in different kind of courses, starting from fisheries or technology courses or otherwise, and I'm not going to go through the details. But just to look at the NSQF levels in detail, we've got level which starts from helper, which could be a simple, maybe somebody who's helping a plumber or somebody who's helping to change the tire but learns how to change the tire also, going to CEO level, and that's how the levels have been defined very clearly in the NSQF level descriptor. The guidelines are there on the NCVT website if anybody is interested. A lot of courses have been created at different levels, and a lot of future skills also have been created, and a lot of micro-credentials and NOSes also. Another good part which came in was, we heard from Professor just the previous session, that there is a need for creating two kinds of courses. One is you have a complete course of IKS. Second is, can we create a small or embed a small course in the existing courses? Now, I don't know whether you people have seen through the NCVT system. NCVT system allows you, of course, to create one course in a particular area, but it also enables you to create a stack of courses where you could actually combine the micro-credentials or nano-credentials and create one large course. And there's a possibility out of those, say, 10 micro-credentials which create one course, one of the micro-credential changes or is added. So I could add maybe a course on AI, or I could add a course on IKS, or I could add a course on IoT, or maybe quantum physics tomorrow. We don't know what the world is going to change to. So there's already a concept. Typically in every course, the basics remain same, but the way the technology has come changes. So we've actually created a concept of stackable credentials, which actually can happen, which I think is again goes back to the ABC. I have lots of slides on the focus areas, but I will quickly go through them. There are a couple of focus areas we created: manufacturing, services, MSME, informal sector, renewable energy, and circular economy. And there are a large number of courses which have been created here, which actually you can look at embedding in some of the courses that you're trying to do. For example, if you look at this tourism, we've got Mr. Praveen sitting here, you'll realize that there are a lot of courses for tourism which can be embedded. And we actually have done, CI has done a very good job in terms of embedding courses of that kind in it. Retail, there's a massive, although e-commerce has picked up in a big way, but retail, I think, is still a very, very happening area. A lot of courses on skilling which are there in retail. And I've seen kids doing these courses late in the evening also and getting jobs. Healthcare, of course, I think you also yourself have courses. Informal sector, some of the courses, areas which are picking up are maybe elder care in a very big way. So these are all these skill courses which are made available to you, which you can look at. Renewable energy, I think, is going to be huge, which are there. We also have a national program for AI skilling framework, which was launched almost a year back, and we've got huge number of kids who've done that. Most of the courses were made online and available. One thing which we did when we launched these programs was to include a concept of ethics and also governance, which I think is there in almost every newspaper that you talk about. But every course that comes to NCVT for approval in the area of AI necessarily needs to have a section or a nano credential or a micro credential on ethics and governance. And of course, security also, not to forget data security. So these are some things which have been built in as a framework for the concept. We've got over 4.74 lakhs learners who've actually done these courses. We have a lot of courses on agriculture. I don't know whether IGNOU has something on agriculture, but I thought I'll just put the slide. There are a large number of courses in agriculture which actually cover integrated farming, cold chain, farm mechanization, and organic farming also. So anybody who's actually wanting to be an entrepreneur in these areas could actually pick up something. There's a reason why I'm actually trying to cover this, but cover these quickly, so that you have an idea that these are the courses, skill courses available. You've started with healthcare, but I'm sure there are other areas also you can actually pick up. And you can pick up existing courses and embed in your own curriculum. Green energy management, there are a large number of courses. And I have a complete list of courses which have been created here. Other policy that we're trying to do, of course, we're working for Punasthapan, and IGNOU has been a wonderful partner there, where we are actually trying to see how our defense persons can be used after they retire or after they are not in jobs. That's one area which is picked up in a very big way. Employability skill is another area that's been done. Research division has been started. But there are some international MOUs also lately have been signed. Australia ke saath we signed an MOU very recently, and others also. A beautiful concept of sports as a skill has started, which is, I think, something which actually can happen with every university, because sports is something which we need to make sure we as India take part in. You know, after the latest competition, everybody was saying, why is India not there in football? You know, we are there in cricket, but we are not there. Yeah, I'll just finish in 2 minutes. Why are we not there in this? But can we actually have sports as a skill, and can that also get credits? See, currently, if I play sports in a college, I don't get credits for it. But can I get credits for that also? That's what I think we are trying to say about. Language as a skill, and I think that's another area where IGNOU can really help us and partner with us, because we are trying to send, as India, a lot of kids to other countries, Japanese, Germany, all these language skills are very important. So I think that's another area where we would need partnership from institutes like IGNOU to make it happen. Just trying to finish, because I know she's already given me a message that I'm out of time. So why are we doing skilling integration in education? Just to summarize, enhance employability, lifelong learning. I think lifelong learning, I think what I learned during my college, believe me, is not even valid today. The communication principles that I learned, we had 2 courses in my BTech, I had 2 courses on communication. It's changed, totally changed from that time. I also did a course on AI. It's changed. The requirements have changed with LLM, etc. The world is changing. We have to keep learning, otherwise we will not be able to survive. And I think that's what is the credit framework, also enabling you. It gives you that certificate, it gives you that credit, which actually you can actually then also get degree. My last slide, let's see what is the call for action. I think there is to implement NEP in its true sense, and also to truly embed skilling in education, all of us need to work together. I think for universities, my request would be not only IGNOU, others also, design and offer interdisciplinary courses. For example, IIT Ropar, I think, has started a course, mechanical engineering, with the specialization in AI or specialization in computer science. Let that be multidisciplinary, because one discipline may not survive tomorrow. So we all, as teachers, have to ensure that we have this kind of courses. For students, of course, again, I think multidisciplinary is going to be there. So please learn more than one area. Don't stick to only one area, because that's not the way you're going to survive. For partners, again, we need help from the partners like industry to give us the research skills to see what is going to happen maybe tomorrow, so that we can embed that kind of skills in the courses today. And of course, for the policymakers, some of us are sitting here, I think it's important that we are a little more adaptable, because the world is changing. We cannot say that a policy which is valid today will be valid tomorrow. So the policies have to change, and we have to be able to change those policies based on what the industry needs, what the environment needs, and what maybe the Gen Z needs. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Pahuja. That was very insightful. And before I move on to the next speaker, I can at least say that we are working on the last thing that you have said, that is collaboration with the industry. And we are collaborating with our next speaker, with the School of Tourism, that is where I belong to. And we are collaborating with CII to offer a program from this session itself in our tourism sector. So to call upon our next speaker, Mr. Praveen Roy, who is an advisor in the Center of Excellence on Skills in CII. Mr. Praveen Roy is a distinguished hospitality professional, educationist, and skill development expert with over 3 decades of experience in hospitality operations, vocational education, and industry-academia collaboration. Currently, he is serving as an advisor at the Confederation of Indian Industry. He has previously held leadership positions with EHL Advisory Services, the Tourism and Hospitality Skill Council, and the Taj Group of Hotels. His expertise lies in developing industry-aligned curricula, strengthening hospitality education, and creating meaningful pathways between vocational skills, higher education, and employment. The topic for today that he'll be discussing is industry perspective on NEP 2020 implementation. Mr. Roy.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, ma'am, for inviting us for this wonderful occasion. I would be very, very focused on the industry involvement, because there's a lot been talked about NEP, though I'm dying to talk more about it because I've been part of this whole ecosystem from the day one when we started as part of NSTC, Sector Skill Council, NSQF Committee, NSQC, QRC, all that. But what is more important, I realized, is that how do we convert this, all these changes which is happening in the ecosystem, make it useful for the students of our country, for the people of our country who want to actually be successful. And that's the most critical part of the whole question which I keep raising. And I'll start with a small example. You know, I remember way back in 1990, when there was a very famous managing director of Taj Group of Hotels called Ajit Babubhai Kerkar, AB Kerkar as he's known. You know, I was a part of the core team which was set to set up an institution which would actually blend education with actual working in the hotels, because Taj was hotels. And there were 2 criteria which he stated that time, way back in 1990, that it's very critical that every trainer who works in that college should not spend more than 1 year in teaching and should go back to operations and maybe then come back again as and when required. And second important thing is that the student should spend at least 40% of the time or maybe 50% of the time while doing the work, while doing the job. So it was not just the practical sessions, it was actually a 5-star hotel was attached to the college. So the students would run the hotel, and it was extremely new concept in India. At the same time, we were offering a British degree, which was also the first time in India. And incidentally, I was the principal of that college and also the general manager of the hotel. So even my role was dual. I was not just teaching, but I was also managing a 5-star hotel. So everybody attached to that education concept had to be good in the job which they are supposed to be good in. For example, the person who's teaching culinary would have to be an excellent chef. He cannot be just a culinary teacher. And I think that concept stayed with me all my life. Even post when I founded the Tourism and Hospitality Sector Skill Council, one of the various focus was it, okay, the industry was part of the council, but to make industry active in participating in day-to-day education or skilling, it's not an easy job because they just have enough time and you have to extract more time out of them. So that itself was a big challenge, but I'll quickly come to when I came back to CII, I realized that doing a skill center is not so great, but what you should do is a center which is part of the industry. In fact, that whole thing triggered when we went to Brazil for the Sao Paulo Skills Olympic. And there we saw that in Brazil, the 80% of education is done inside an industry. It's not, so the qualifications are given by relevant education boards. The curriculum is set by the relevant education board, but the education takes place inside the industry premises. It was it was a big eye-opener. And though I would say that when we came to India, we wanted to start a similar kind of, a program. And we tied up with world's #1 hospitality education institution. It's 132 years old, École Hôtelière de Lausanne, which is based out of Switzerland in Lausanne. And we didn't go for the degree program. We went there, we tied up for the advanced diploma or a diploma program, which was of 18 months duration. Now the good part of this diploma was actually imparted inside a skills center. So we said that we requested that why don't you change it? Can we not make it an apprenticeship mode where the education can happen once in a week, one day in a week, and one day could be a practical classrooms which are conducted by industry professionals, and rest of the 4 days they should actually be trained by the people on the shop floor. So they are not employees. They cannot be forced to work X way or Z way, but they are actually being supervised and marked on regular basis. Initially, there was a lot of resistance from the hotels, but we are very proud now. Taj, ITC, Hyatt, and very soon Marriott will be our partners. They are already our partners, and we already have 22 centers across India and growing rapidly. We train on an average 500 students every year, and they all pay fees, and they all pay a very hefty fees because there is an international education involved. And now the good part is that with the way the NEP has evolved, this whole program has been now recognized by NCVET. So we get credit, a student get credits for the 18 months plus 6 months dissertation, or 24 months of credit, equivalent to approximately 80 credits. And the great thing, thanks to ma'am, we have become part of the IGNOU now. We have actually, as per the NEP, we have actually got credit recognition where the students have an option to continue the program with a degree option over the period of, along with his course. So the good part is he gets an international qualification. He gets 2 years of work experience from class 12th onwards. At the same time, he gets a degree from IGNOU and a diploma from NCVT. So it's a foolproof program, and it's 100% recognized by the industry. Everybody gets a job. As soon as they finish the program, there is actually a fight amongst the industry players that we want more people, we want more people. So what more happy situation you can have if you have this kind of a scenario. So having done this experiment, now we are moving into beauty and wellness. That's the next segment which we are moving into. We are already also working along with limited success in animation, but obviously we are looking at another big option is logistics and healthcare, which is where we are going to be coming up in a big way. So prima facie, it's very critical to take care of the aspirations of the students. At the end of the day, student wants a qualification. In India is a degree-hungry society. So unless we have a collaboration with organizations like IGNOU, we will never be able to be successful in this area. So that part is very important, and we are very happy to have a partner like IGNOU, with which we can actually look at multiple options of degrees for our students who start at a vocational level. The second important aspect is should result into a job. Whether it is somebody wants to become an entrepreneur or whether somebody wants to take up a position, he should be able to get a job at the end of the program. And I think that's where the last thing is very critical in our mind. So we make sure that we first tie up with the industry. We involve industry in the curriculum development. We make sure that industry people are the professionals who are going to be teaching them on the shop floor. And at the same time, they'll be conducting the assessments while they are trained by our education partners. So basically, it is culmination of all the important elements which are required to make a professional in the skilling world. So that's the beauty of the NEP. I think thanks to NEP, we have been able to think bravely and to be able to develop models which were not thought about in the past. And obviously, I foresee that with AI coming in, somewhere down the line, our industry will start also use, for example, today, it's very important to have soft skills or communication skills. But the reality of life is that very soon you're going to say it's very important to have AI skills. So that's the minimalistic which you need. So we are quite aware of that. So we are making sure that every program should have digital learning as a part of the program. So that's very important concept. And also, another important thing for a student is that he should be able to continue his education within the country or outside the country. So whatever qualifications we are creating, we have to make sure those qualifications are recognized by certain important universities, not only in India, but in an international forum. Because now people have money, they have ability to get loans from multiple organizations, and they have aspirations to go abroad and learn. And why not? If they have aspirations, I think it's a job to make sure we fulfill their aspirations. So somewhere down the line, we realized, in fact, we are now working with some other industries to develop content curriculum so that we can actually take it through the NCVT, get a qualification, and then see whether those qualifications can be embedded into a degree program. And that's where the focus of full skill ecosystem in CII at the moment. So very soon, we should be able to repeat or recreate these kind of models with many other industries. So in short, this is what we are doing. I would like to answer any questions if anybody would have any questions on that. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting us to be part of this. Yeah. Thank you. Enjoy your lunch.
Thank you so much, Mr. Roy. I don't think we have time for any questions, but during the lunch, you can always interact with our guests, but after they have their lunch, please allow them to have their lunch. Some of the key takeaways from this session were, first and foremost, NEP 2020 is a vision document and everybody sees this document in their way and how it can be implemented. And Mr. Roy has given a very good example of how apprenticeship and internship can be embedded in the program. At the same time, we also have certain areas where IGNOU can also look into, such as recognition of prior learning, some heritage and traditional skills. Maybe they can be embedded somewhere. And of course, looking forward to ma'am asking us to create more micro-credentials and nano-credentials that now they have been introduced here on this platform. And elder care are some of the things. Since we have already started one program with skill embeddation with CII, many more are in the pipeline. And hopefully, some of things, one thing that I found very interesting, and I have an anecdote but don't have time to share, is how with changing time, we as teachers also needs to change our evaluation and assessment methods, especially with AI in the picture. So thank you so very much, Dr. Pahuja and Mr. Roy, and I give the platform to Dr. Vijeta again.
Thank you so much, everyone, for such an enriching session. May I now request Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Uma Kanjilal, ma'am, to kindly felicitate our guest. May I request Neena Pahuja, ma'am, to kindly come in front. May I request Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Uma Kanjilal, to kindly felicitate our guest, Dr. Neena Pahuja, and express our gratitude and appreciation. Which one? Thank you so much, ma'am. The session was extremely enriching. May I now request ma'am to kindly felicitate Mr. Pravendra. Thank you so much. With the permission of Chair. Thank you so much. With the permission of Chair, we close this session. We will all assemble here at 2:30 after lunch for a very interesting session, session 3 on AI, AVGC, and the future of ODL. Thank you. I again make an announcement that we have found a wallet in the auditorium. If it's somebody, kindly. So after verification of details, anyone can take it. We just need to know the exact amount.